I've been cleaning out the bird feeders and they're just drying off at the moment. As you can see, I've used this old baby bath that I've got to give them a good soaking in, and I'm going to get them filled up with some fresh seed and put them back on my little feeding pole. You will see that I've purchased a new bag, 12.5 kilo bag of bird food. The best deal around at the time is actually with Pets at Home, so I bought this from Pets at Home. We've also got a tub of 50 fat balls, and also this little gizmo here, which is going to help us make the bird feeding pole squirrel-proof with a bit of luck. So all the feeders are drying off now. As you can see, the squirrel gets onto the feeders and causes quite a bit of damage. He just gnaws through them. I've replaced so many feeders recently due to the squirrel just chewing them, and eventually they just don't hold any seed. So we're going to try and stop that from happening again. This is the plan. I've got a little slinky spring which we're going to fit on the bird feeding pole. I've seen a few people have done this with good effect, so I'm going to give it a go. This is only a cheap plastic one which we got from the pound shop. Just going to try this first of all. If it works, then I will upgrade to a metal one. Just pushing the pole back in there. This is a feeding pole that I made out of some 6mm round rod and a piece of old tube that I had knocking around in the garage. And what we're going to do is just cable tie this spring to the top of the feeding pole so that it hangs down. I'm going to cable tie it in 4 places just so it's got a good hold on there. And I've cable tied a few coils together at the top just to make sure it's quite strong. Hopefully this will deter the squirrel. If the squirrel does end up snapping this or chewing through it, then we'll go straight into version 2.0 with the still slinky spring. But we're just going to try this out first of all, see whether it works. I've got my fingers crossed that it will. And as you can see, it just hangs down the pole. The squirrel climbs up this pole, even though it's a shiny sort of pole, he climbs up there with the greatest of ease, and I'm just hoping having this spring on there will stop him from climbing up. I don't mind feeding the squirrel at all, and I will put some food out on the floor for him. I normally put some on the floor for birds that feed off of the floor anyway. But I just don't like him eating my bird feeders. I will be making some new bird feeders soon in another video, so subscribe and you'll be informed when that one comes out. But there you are, that's how it looks. The spring is hanging down, should hopefully prevent the squirrel from climbing up. As you can see, it's cable tied in 4 places on the top there. And yeah, we'll give this a go and see how we get on. I also thought whilst I'm out in the garden, I'll give the bird bath a scrub and a clean and fill that back up as well. I've had to voice over this video because unfortunately Storm Bert is visiting at the moment. As you can see, I've had all sorts of stuff blown around in the garden and it's very, very windy today. So I'm voice overing this just so you can hear what I'm saying. Otherwise, I don't think you'd have stood much of a chance. So there we go, the feeders are filled up. I've got 3 feeders there with the wild bird seed in. I've got 1 with the fat balls. I've also sprinkled some seed around on the floor for the floor feeding birds, and let's put it to the test. Well, there's our little friend. We've just come back after a walk out with the dogs for an hour or so. It's a little bit later on in the afternoon now. The squirrel is quite happily munching on some food that I've put on the lawn, but I haven't seen him attempt to go up the pole. Whether he has tried that a few times whilst we were out walking the dogs, I don't know, but I watched him for quite some time. He made no attempt to go near the bird feeding pole, so I think we're going to call that a success. I will update you further if he does manage to get up there. But he's quite happy just sort of feeding off of the floor. I have put food out on the floor before and he still climbed up the pole, so I'm thinking that he's probably attempted to get up the pole and hasn't been able to. And he seems to be leaving it well alone, which is great news. We also did see a couple of great tits feeding on the pole, which is really good to see, because I was wondering whether the multicoloured spring flapping around might be more of a bird scarer than a squirrel preventer. But the birds seem to be coming to the feeding pole, so that's good news. So yeah, I think at this stage we will call that a success. Like I say, I will be back soon with another video. We will be making some new feeders to go on the bird feeding pole. I've got a great idea for making some very cheap feeders. So please subscribe. You'll see that video come out soon. But until then, thanks ever so much for watching. I will see you in another one very soon. All the best. Bye bye now.